Oh, that's good to hear, man. Oh, wow. Vortex number 6? Maybe Apex Sentinel is the way to go. What's up, fellow Orb of Unmaking consumers? Lately, I've been running a boss strat, and after running over 1,000 maps using various versions of the tree, I've finally decided to make a video on the one I had the most success with. If you want a link to the spreadsheet and Atlas tree, they're in the comments, and I'll go over both of them a little bit later. So for the first 250 maps, I was using an alternate version utilizing singular focus, but ultimately I decided to get rid of that because we're wasting a lot of potential for map drops that are really easy to sell in bulk on TFT. So in this strat, we're zooming straight to the boss, killing mobs, and grabbing whatever boss buffing altars we see along the way. We also want to pick up any quantity altars if we end up getting any. On average, it's slightly under 1 altar per map, with the node that gives us a 50% chance to spawn an altar when we first see influence packs. The build I used in this is my deck stacking tornado shot build using Queen of the Forest and Mage Blood for extra zoom. The Queen of the Forest is just temporary for this project only, and I'll go over that build in another video as well. But I'll link to my POB in the comments if you're interested. So we're running shore maps for this entire project, and we're favoriting Crimson Temple for 2 reasons. First reason, Crimson Temple is in really high demand this league because of the Mage Blood card, and it sells between 4.5 to 60 per map on TFT. The second reason is Crimson Temple is actually directly connected to shore on the Atlas, which means all of the nodes on the tree which grant a chance to receive a connected map are in full effect. So we don't actually sustain shores in this strat, we just sell Crimson Temples and buy shores at a cheaper price. Shore maps can generally be bought for 3.5 to 4C in bulk on TFT. So I'll go over the passive tree now before we get into the investment and profits. So for our tree, we're not taking a ton of notables, but the ones we're taking are going to help increase our profits with boss drops itself. We also pick up some of the Alva nodes because Alva missions are high value to me, and I'll go over that in another video as well. So for our Atlas tree here, we're picking up Shaping the Mountains and Shaping the Skies because I'm farming for some future profits, and those are just very helpful, as well as the chance to find maps a tier higher. We also pick up our Alvas, as I mentioned before here, with Perpetual Search, and then these 3 nodes right here, which give us a nice good chunk of chance to receive Alva missions. We're also going to grab all of the good boss and special map drops up here, so we're grabbing the Remnants of the Past for Shaper and Elder maps. We're grabbing Conquerors for Conqueror maps. We're grabbing the Synth nodes for Synth maps, and then for our other keystones, we take Baptized by Fire, which actually I go over in the spreadsheet, has really nice value, and Light of Dawn just for some more altars to get us some more boss drops. I also picked up Enriched Entities over here just to duplicate the map boss. It's nice when I switched over to the Apex Sentinel strat to have double drops, but it's not needed and you can put those points elsewhere. And lastly, we grabbed Commissioned Officer for the additional Kirak mission. So I didn't take Wandering Path here because I wanted the drops. I wanted the Conquer maps, I wanted a chance to buff Synth maps, and I wanted to grab Baptized by Fire and Light of Dawn. So if you want to, you can drop all that stuff. You can put a point here and then just grab all the small passives and double up on that. But I don't believe that that would be as good, so I didn't end up running it. And that pretty much does it for the Atlas tree. So we'll go over the spreadsheet now. Let me get this open. Alright, so for our first 552 maps, it's broken down into 3 sections because I ran the maps in 3 batches, sorry. So our first 552, we ended up buying shore maps at around 3.95C each, which brought us up to 2180C. I also factored in our chisels, our unmakings for the entire tree, which you probably won't have to do the entire tree, but I factored that in anyway. And then our chaos to roll no regen maps because I didn't want to run no regens. Now for our profits, we ended up with 462 Crimson Temples, which isn't sustaining, but it ended up being a nice chunk of profit. It was more valuable than what we spent on the shore maps. Our other T16 maps, we got 46, which are about 4C each on TFT. Our searing invitations, which is the big one, these are 185C each on Poe Ninja at the time. I'm not sure, they might have gone up by now. But we had a total of 21.2, and the 0.2 is just a few leftover missions after I ran out of maps in that batch. So, and for our Polaric invitations, they were 7C each at the time. They might have gone up or slightly down since. And we also got 21.2 of those. And then we had miscellaneous currency, including heist stuff. That was 1300C. Our Alva mission, so I looked up the price of sextants at the time of making the spreadsheet. It was 25C for a 4 use, which makes each Alva mission worth approximately 6.25C each, and we got 83, so that's another 518C worth. And then our Elder Guardian maps, our Shaper Guardian, our Conqueror maps, and our Synth maps. I got 3 Cortex from the first 520 or 552 maps, so that was a nice chunk of profit. So our investment total was 15.3x, our revenue was 67, and our total profit was 52.46 exalts. It took 5 hours and 81 minutes at approximately, like, I think 35 to 40 seconds per map. And that worked out to be 9 exalts an hour for the first section. So here's the drops from the first batch of maps. This is actually the third, sorry. We'll go over to this tab, we can scroll down and see our drops from the first 210. And then we ended up getting 1 raw exalt in this, and then we didn't get an exalt the rest of the time. So it was just the one, which is actually kind of unlucky. Our second 206, we ended up getting a good chunk of maps in this one as well. Some nice Conquer maps. And I sorted out the Crimson Temple Conquer maps because they actually sell for double what the normal ones did. And then our third run, we ended up with less drops than the others, but it was also less maps, so it wasn't too bad. And it's missing a couple of the invites here because I ended up running them. I got really impatient and I wanted to see if I could get an Omni, so in these screenshots, if they're missing invites, it's because I ran them. So that takes care of our first 552. For the next 256, these were all using Apex Sentinels. So the Apex Sentinels that I used were typically, this is the tree setup. I'm basically just buffing empowerment and less common rewards is this node down here. And then I was running Apex Sentinels with quantity and chance to add rewards or double rewards depending on what I add. So in our first 103 maps, we averaged 9.24 exalts an hour, and they took just over 1 hour. And then our second with Apex Sentinels, I averaged 12.87 exalts an hour. And then our total sum, it was almost 11.5 exalts an hour. So Apex Sentinels, are they worth using? I would say in this strat, it's worth using if it doesn't add a bunch of time to your boss kill. I would say definitely use it. They just add a whole lot of more valuable drops. You notice here I have a lot more scarabs. As far as map goes, I got a lot more random maps, but not more Guardian maps or anything like that. So the quant doesn't, I don't think, actually affects any of the base pool, like the Atlas nodes we have on the tree, but it does give us a nice source of other income. Like if you see here, I have the expedition currencies and fossils and just random stuff that definitely adds up. And then for the last little bit of info here, I have an Atlas point breakdown for the first 552 maps. So for our synth map nodes, it costs 15 total points, and our profit per map is 2.6C. So the profit per Atlas point is about like a third of a chaos. So these 9 points are actually pretty good. For Elder Shaper maps, our profit, it costs us 6 points, and our profit per map was 1.84, which is not too bad. Our profit per point is actually better than synth maps. And then I just go over the rest of it. The searing influence is just how much value the actual searing influence has. And if you're curious, Baptized by Fire here got us almost an invite and a half extra which was definitely worth doing over the first 552. So it would have been like just over 2 extra invites from our total 850 maps. So that's definitely worth taking. The value per point is the highest out of everything else that I have here, aside from the Conqueror nodes. And then our Alva chance, it's very hard to calculate, and this isn't going to be accurate, so take that with a grain of salt. It was worth the extra points for me because I like running the Alvas, but that's totally up to you. So that pretty much does it for everything. This strategy definitely can maintain 10 exalts an hour, and it's very easy to do, very brainless. Watch some TV while you're doing it. It's pretty good. So if you end up trying the strat, let me know how it goes. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments, and everything that you need to know will be in the description. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have some luck in this league. Take it easy.